Hello, my name's Lisa Cato. I'm a DC in London North East, and I thought I'd put together some information that might be useful for the vice presidents and the committees for preparing for their committee meetings on after the first meeting of every month. What you'll need for your committee meeting and to prepare for the committee meeting will be the 6-month PALMs and the 1-month PALMs, training report, the membership dues report, traffic lights, the meeting agenda, and the minutes from the previous meeting. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go and pull off these reports from BNI Connect. So under the chapter section, I can do a summary PALMs report, and it will default to the last 6 months, which will be up to the last day of the previous month. I can sort it in first name, which makes my life a little bit easier twice because it does it reverse first. And then I'm going to export without the headers because otherwise it has all merged columns, which can be a bit of a pain. So here we have the outputted PALMs, which I've just downloaded, and it's all sorted into order. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a line here between, this is referrals given internal, incoming, and referrals given outgoing. I'm just going to insert a column and I'm going to sum these two so that all the referrals given are summed up and all the referrals received are summed up. And I'm going to copy that down. If I select the area and then I do Control D, that will copy the formula down for me. What I also like to do is I do it in a slightly different colour so that it's easy to pick out on the report, like that. So the first thing we want to look at is people who have a high sub rate. So here we can see the total number of subs. And you'll know yourself if someone's been on holiday or to travel a lot and if they're taking advantage. I'm going to block out this member here because he's actually left the chapter, so we don't need to look at him. I'm going to just black that out completely. Could actually delete the line if you wanted to, it just gets in the way. You can see the total number of meetings here is 8, 9, 10, 11, of which 4 meetings he's had a sub. What you can also do if you want is freeze the top line. So if you do data, if you do view and freeze panes, that will hold the top column for you so that when you scroll down you can still see. This member here I know was on jury service, so I'm not too concerned about that. You might want to highlight it just so that you know that you can mention that in the meeting that you have noticed it. So anything over 5 or 6 would be unacceptable. That's a sub a month. That isn't okay on the 6-month PALMs. I'm going to insert a column here because I want to have a look at the amount of business that's been thanked for versus the number of referrals that have been given. So if I take the amount of money thanked and I divide it by the total amount of number of referrals given, that's going to give me a number. It won't matter what the amount of money is, it's going to be the ratio. And then you can run your eye down and you can see if you think this member also is leaving the chapter, so I'm not going to bother looking at that one. This is a new member, so I'm going to put this in just a light grey. And we also have another new member down here. Okay, so you can see you can start to build up a story of what's gone on in the last 6 months. You can see here this is a massive high value, whereas this one is maybe for the number of referrals given, anything under 70 or 100 is probably something worth looking at to see if she's been thanked or he's been thanked for enough of the business for the amount of referrals that's been given out. So I generally look for anything under 100 to see if people are sharing their best contacts and getting thanked properly. This is also a new member, only been there for 9 meetings, so I'm going to highlight that as well, just so that we're not bothering analysing it too much. Another new member, only been there for 9 weeks, anything under 12 weeks I'm not really too concerned about at the moment. And there we are. So that's the 6-month PALMs. I've only got a couple of members that I'm concerned about that are under 100. I'm also going to have a look at who hasn't invited a visitor in 6 months. Here's one. And here's one. These are members that might need to go on a chapter development or a training if they're having problems, or assign them a mentor if they need to be inviting visitors. Are they having enough one-to-ones in a 26-week period? That's looking pretty low there. They might not be putting their one-to-ones on Connect. Really want to be having one a month, so a minimum of 6 in a 6-month period, preferably 12, one every couple of weeks. That's very low. It could just be they need a nudge to put their stats onto Connect. But it is something that the committee will need to address, because they're not having the one-to-ones, they're not building the relationships. So, visitors, we've done one-to-ones, we've given, and referrals. Another thing I'm looking at here is a little look at the number of referrals given internal versus external. So if there's a very high disproportion, it might be something that you want to highlight if someone is not sharing their best contacts by giving external referrals. So 30 acts going. So I'm just going to run my eye down here. You may want to run your eye down just to have a look at the thank you for the business, to see if people have a low thank you for the business who you feel should have higher, just because if they're not being thanked for the business, or they need to go on referral skills so that they can be better at referring their colleagues. Another thing you may want to look at is the testimonials. Anyone that hasn't given a testimonial in a 6-month period, it's a nice, easy 5 points on the traffic lights. So these people should get maybe a little just text message or moment with one of you or one of the committee members to nudge them to do a testimonial for one of their fellow members. So those are the people that need to be contacted there. And then you've also got the people who haven't done training, which you won't get from this report. You'll need to look at a separate report for that. So I'm going to save that and print it. So that is, I would say, the 6-month PALMS that is up for discussion at your meeting. So here we are back at BNI Connect, and I'm going to download the 1-month PALMS. So I've selected the date range. I'm going to sort it by first name, clicking twice because it does it in reverse alphabetical order first. And then I'm going to export without the headers. Then it brings in a nice spreadsheet that doesn't need all the cells unmerging. Here's our spreadsheet. And the first thing you're going to want to look at is the absence column. You're going to want to highlight anyone that has a number in here, because this means that they have had an absence this month. You will want to use the personal PALMS report so that when they do get their letters from the committee, that they have the exact dates of all of their absences, so that they know when they're going to drop off. Let's have a look at what else we want to look at here. Right, so again, I'm going to have a look at, I'm going to sum up the referrals given and the referrals received, the totaling those. Well, what we want to be looking for here is to make sure that we have a minimum of 1 a week given. So anybody that's got less than, anyone that's got less than, who's been at 4 meetings. I can see here that this member was absent for a meeting, but regardless, they only had 2 referrals out of the 3 meetings, so this is a problem. But this member isn't staying at the chapter, so we don't even need to look at that. Again, colouring this column kind of helps your eye to look at what it needs to look at. So make it a bit lighter. Here we have, that's a new member, so we don't need to look at her. Isn't that great? Then we have this member here is a new member. There we go. So going down here, anyone with less than 1 contribution a week, there's one. 4 meetings but only 2 contributions. This one as well. Okay, so on the 1 month palms, we've looked at anyone that is less than, right, this member's leaving, so we can not bother looking at this in the committee meeting. Who else has got less than 4 contributions? That's it. So again, you might want to run your eye down the referrals received. This might be if people are not getting enough referrals. It might be a question that they're not educating the members, they're not having one-to-ones. So who is not receiving enough referrals? So again, I've just totaled the columns and added them in. And it'll be in your best judgment as well. Some people can be difficult to refer. They can have high values. If someone's selling cars, they may not be getting very many because they only need a couple every few months in order for it to be worthwhile for them to benefit from their membership. So run your eye down and make sure that you feel that people are educating members enough. See, here we have a member that I think should be getting more referrals. He's not really getting what I think he should. I haven't done that very cleverly. There we go. See, this member also not very many, and he's only had 2 one-to-ones, so that's hardly surprising. Difficult to refer member. Okay, so this member you might want to suggest that they get on the feature speaker rota. And again, you can have a look at anyone that's that not had any one-to-ones in the month at all. To make sure that they are building the relationship with their fellow members. So I'm going to put grid lines on this. There'll be other talking points that come up with, this is just the preparation for the things that catch your eye. So the other things will come up with the other committee members when you have the meeting. Okay, the other things that we need are the member training report, which we're going to go back to BNI Connect for. Here we are. And a membership dues report as well. So the report date sorted by first name shows when memberships are due. I always recommend looking at it 6 months in advance so that if you do need to catch a member early and mentor them, it's easier than catch them in the last 90 days. I'm going to print one of those. I'm going to print the member training report. All the trainings in the last 6 month period. This is a good reference for if you think someone does need referral skills or presentation skills. Again, sort it by first name, and then you can see what trainings you think they should go on if they haven't been on any. I'm going to print that. You can also have a little add up on there for who's done less than 3 trainings in a 6 month period. This, by the way, is also where you'll find the personal palms report, which is also good to have to the meeting for the people that have got absences. So you can put the dates, whoever's going to be doing the letter, they've got the dates handy for adding to the letter so people know when their 3 absences are going to drop off, or any absences they've got on a 6 month rolling period are going to drop off. Don't forget to print the meeting minutes from the last meeting, and also to take with you to the meeting the blank agenda so that you can fill it in there when you're with the other people. This you'll need so that you can make sure that all the action points happened. It's pretty self-explanatory. Speak to your DC if you need any help in filling that out. Don't forget to email your DC with a copy of the committee meeting agenda report once it's been completed after the committee meeting. Thanks for sticking with it. I hope that that was useful for you to build your details that you need for your committee meeting once a month. If you get stuck or you're panicking or you just want some guidance, do send me over an email. It'd be my pleasure to give you a hand. Good luck, guys.